starters.
So we really wanted to talk about VaynerMedia, the agency's brand. So what are you doing at the moment with the brand strategy as an agency, and how are you reflecting that in your day-to-day dealings with all of your staff?
I think about the brand from a standpoint of the execution of how we do culture inside our company creates the brand. Let me explain what I mean by that. I'm very into marketing and business and sales and branding. I think that marketing has to have a function, meaning I think one of the biggest weaknesses of this week is that people are in echo chamber and are talking about things within ourselves, but that if you take a step back, the reason we do marketing is to sell the thing.
Yeah.
So with Vayner, what would I like to happen? I'd like to get clients. And we get clients, that's our business, right? And boy, do you know what I'm about to say. You in this room and literally what's outside fully represents the norm of how people get business. People in this industry get business from the press that they get about the agency or the work, or by getting awards. And those are two of the disproportionate proxies to why an agency would be awarded business, if they're not like an incumbent 100-year holding company, right? For me, the way I think we get business is early on we leveraged my personal brand and my points of view on the world, and individuals would say, hey, I actually do think social media might become a thing, and those became our earliest clients. I think that what I'm spending my time on from a brand standpoint is, I think that the best representation of our brand is the human beings that are in it. So what I'm most excited about when I think about what's happening this week is, while a lot of people will put out outdoor media, and a lot of people will buy ads in the magazine, and a lot of people will throw parties and do executions and a lot of things for brand, I am getting complimented on the hour by the hour of the humanity and kindness and value of the human beings that work at Vayner. And so I think we have a very wild approach. I believe that if I love my employees the most, and they like me, and I can eliminate fear, that they themselves show up in the world, let alone when we all congregate, in a way that actually impacts our brand. Because I think outside of people believing in one company's philosophy of work, which I think is incredibly well established for us in some pockets and completely unknown in other pockets, but we also are disproportionately the youngest agency of any kind of scale in the world. There's not many agencies that do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue that haven't been around for, we're only 14 years old. So I think, to answer your question, by building an internal culture that eliminates fear, to then allow our thousands of employees to show up in the world, to create the reputation of who we are, because the goal of branding and marketing is to do business. And I think we're in a place right now where we have more than enough opportunities of getting new business. That is not our biggest problem, and I want our people to represent our brand, and then people will subjectively decide if they like the work we do.
Yeah.
Like creative is beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Just because somebody gets an award, that does not mean that it affirms that that was good work. Most of the work that gets awards didn't actually move the business anyway. So these are kind of like the different things that I think about.
Sort of anchor in the agency.
Just on that point about the echo chamber.
Yes.
A question for both of you, because we completely agree. Where do you go for inspiration? I know you're both extremely busy, but we have Campaign Magazine, The Drum, all these industry magazines, but when you're sat on a beach or just chilling on the weekend.
None of those.
Right.
Where
Where do
do
you
I
go?
answer? For me, it's like where's the consumer? What's actually happening in the real world? The number one thing, and I think I mentioned it earlier, is that when I have my team constantly sending me, have you seen this article, have you seen who's won, it's not healthy. What game are you playing? So for me, it's social media, it's looking at what other people are reacting to, and more than anything, looking in the comments. Like, what are actually people saying about this? Because that's much more insightful and impactful. I also actually hate surrounding myself by other people in the industry. I want to be knowing what's happening with this entrepreneur over here, what's actually really happening in the real world. It's the only way you're going to stay relevant.
I think from an inspirational standpoint, what is fun about our industry is I do believe that creative is the variable of success. But in line to where Daisy's going, I think it's very hard to be inspired by a 30-second commercial that's made for television. That's crazy. There's nothing inspiring about that. And I think, for me, what's inspiring is if you're talking about creative inspiration, it's being done by individual human beings at scale across the internet today. And then inspiration overall tends to just be stories that touch something that I care about, right? Like, and that can come in any form of media, like just wherever I hear something that like is nice or like persevered through something, like that's why I like Rocky or like beaches or like Steel Magnolias or shit that makes me cry.
Yeah, it's good for the soul, right? So to come back to the present, we're only on Wednesday of Cannes. We were just saying it kind of feels like we're already on Friday. What's your biggest personal learning, or what's something that's on your radar, or something that you can't get out of your head right now from Cannes so far?
That the industry is obsessed with yesterday and tomorrow. What I talked about a little bit yesterday on stage, that I love this industry, but boy, who has children here? Great. So I'll just talk to Daisy real quick.
Yeah.
You know how you can like love them, but you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I really do love being a part of this industry, but this industry is incredibly capable of not caring about today. Like, literally 80% of the energy is around commercials, and the other 20 is around AI. As if anyone here actually can speak to AI in a good way. It's really silly for me to watch. So this obsession with yesterday, this obsession with tomorrow. Meanwhile, more stuff will be sold today because of social media ads than anything else in the world. How much talk has there been about social media creative at this?
So true.
It's fucking crazy. So what can I get out of my head? This industry is just not interested in what is going on with the consumer today. It's just not.
So how is that impacting your thoughts for innovation for the agency in the coming 12 months?
It's the reason we became one of the biggest agencies in the world, from a guy who owned a wine store and knew nothing about the industry.
So continue doing what you're doing.
Of course. If I was to, I always think about this, some of my teams heard me say this, I don't even really know why I do this, but I always say, if somebody asked me that I was forced, if I got like some weird letter, like the WWF at one point had to rebrand because I guess they lost the lawsuit with the World Wild Foundation or whatever, like Wildlife Foundation. If someone's like, you have to change the name, I do think that I'd call it Today. That's my current thought of what I would call the agency. It's just so obvious to me that it's just not what the industry does. The industry is incredibly bad at that. Like, most of the awards that should be given out at this event are best TikTok that sold shit by doing something creative. That's unheard of here. I mean, to the point where actually I just had this thought for the first time in my life right this second. Ready? I wonder if I should throw my own can in another fancy place a month later or a month earlier that only gives awards subjectively and politically to people that made good social media content.
I think that would be great.
And it wouldn't always be an agency. Like I was thinking when you were talking
It would
the other day.
never be an agency. We would be maybe once a year get one. It would be.
The idea of entering. Do you make the Ocean Spray guy? Like literally.
He should have won.
To an Effie.
He should have won.
At marketing effectiveness 101. Okay.
Some relatable audience and some rawness that people, young creators or those turning their hand at creating, we can think, okay, this is.
But you know what's funny? Anytime we talk social, immediately, even subconsciously, we go to young. Every 40 to 60-year-old woman on earth buys their shit from social. You know, like it's amazing how the brand of social in advertising, outside of this world, we talk about social media as the most powerful tool that is like upending governments. In this industry, we don't talk about it.
That's so true. And yet, my mum skips TV commercials, and she's always talking about social.
Because she's a human being.
Yeah, and she's
A normal human being on Earth today.
Yeah.
Or your dad needs it or whatever. So, client agency relationships.
Yes.
You know that new business is not a problem. But how do you, as an agency, deal with tricky clients or a client that immediately you know that, okay, is this going to be like a vendor relationship?
Yeah.
Or are they looking at a collaborative partner?
At our best, our leadership team tries to do their best, and then if they can't get it further, I'm still the active CEO who's passionately in the business, and I beg my team to bring me in to help them. At our worst, they just eat it because they grew up in this industry and they think it's normal. Unfortunately, we're at our worst 85% of the time, but the good news is we were at our worst 95% of the time 6 months ago, so we've made a lot of progress, and I hope that when I see you here next year, we're doing that only 30% of the time, but that's the actual answer. One of my most substantial passions to change this industry is that I don't think clients treat agencies nice enough. I think they should hold them accountable. I actually think agencies should be fired more often, but yelled at less.
What does the fix look like? Is that some sort of
Civility.
regulation
The concept of bringing civility back. Human beings are not inspired by fear.
No.
I don't work harder for someone because they're trying to scare me.
It brings it back to the agency culture again, right?
Yeah, the agency culture is really negative. It's been very hard for me and continues to be hard for me of hiring from the outside. You know, the company was very awkward. The first 80, 90 employees of my company were all kids that had 0 days experience in agency land, so we were all just like living. And then at some point, I thought it was strategic in year 5 or 6. I'm like, you know, I should probably bring in some agency people just to like siphon the good from it, to learn. So we did that for 5 years, and that was extremely challenging. Like, it brought a very different energy to our agency. And then about 3, 4 years ago, I started the process of unwinding that by holding people from the outside dramatically more accountable to conform, instead of like letting them seep in bad behaviors. But the bad behaviors is not because they're bad people, it's because they're scared people. And that has a lot to do with the way the whole industry works. And you know, I'm a Renaissance man. I'm in a lot of stuff. I'm in a lot of businesses. I'm in a lot of sectors. I've been in a lot of businesses. Everybody in the wine business, like the wine business is so tough. Everybody in Silicon Valley, like investing business, like the ad world is in a very bad place. It is one of the more unhealthy industries from a humanity standpoint, and it's really too bad. It's really too bad. And I have a lot of passion to disrupt that. I don't think the majority of people here realize how much of a toxic relationship they have with their job.
because they're in this goldfish bowl.
That's right, that's exactly right. They think it's normal for people to yell at them or to like
And then
shush them.
feeds that next
Or- yeah.
generation. That's the problem.
It's true.
Yeah, it's abusive. Like I really think it is. I really do think it is. Like, and I don't like, to be frank, you don't know me well enough. I think people throw around toxic and abusive too much now. It's like a slang term. I genuinely believe the ad world is not happy. And I think it has a lot to do with the way we do work. I think it has a lot to do with how we celebrate and what we celebrate. I think it has a lot to do with fear. I think it has a lot to do with Wall Street DNA. You know, our clients are scared too.
Yeah.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
They're yelling at us because they're scared shitless for their job. Because you have to be measured every 90 days on the stock price. And so people are not building meaningful things in this business. Almost every independent agency here is hoping to sell their agency to a holding company. Like the whole thing's all fucked up.
And there's so many memes about this sort of humor that's, oh, you know, when your client doesn't, you know, approve your deck, and it's true. They've had to create the humor agency props. There's a new one they have to create to cope.
On the topic of talent, obviously you said the stage yesterday,
Yes.
hiring, which is a great
Yes.
idea. What do you look for in talent? You're bringing in from the outside, and both Daisy as well, your team.
Daisy?
So for me, the number one thing
Hang with
is
us.
the person, obviously. That willingness to, there's a hustle to it. Like people who aren't going to be sitting here, it's not an industry where you need to sit and wait. You need to be able to move, you need to have your eyes open. Somebody who's willing to learn and continuously evolve is super, super important to me.
On the creative side, the biggest issue our creatives have is lack of self-awareness on how much humility they have. The biggest issue with, it all goes back to what I said in the talk. Like, you know, we had that nice moment when I was like, free these people.
Yeah, that was very nice.
But then I was like, but be careful, these people, like you grew up and you were toxic, and now that you got the spot, you're toxicing.
Agency rehab almost.
Yeah, it's like because you got shit on, now that you have the top perch, you're shitting on. And it's like really, like this is that generational bad behavior shit that I think about in real life that I'm seeing in creative leads.
Yes.
Which is why I made that joke of like, great ideas can come from anywhere. That's not real in agencies. The chief creative officer decides what she and he wants to do, and that's what gets done.
And yet, like you said, most creative ideas come from, they don't actually happen in the end. Someone in new business growth may have an incredible idea in the shower in the weekend.
The process of how we get to ideas is broken in this industry, which we're not taking advantage of social. If everyone here knew what social media was, actually, the place would be more productive, more creative. The work would be things that people actually saw. So anyway, I look for humility, which is really hard to interview for. You know, I go with intuition and then my belief, like, can I connect with it? Daisy, this is real. Daisy, don't sugarcoat it for me, but don't undersell it for I don't know, for whatever reason. Please tell everybody what happened in the first 4 minutes of us ever talking to each other.
I was very open about who I was, and then he said, in 5 years' time, you're going to be my CEO.
Excellent.
Within 4 seconds, and I was like, this is the first time we'd had a proper conversation. I was like, what? You know, and being a woman, I instantly went, oh, that didn't happen. Let me push this back here, because it's your imposter syndrome comes out. But it's been amazing, yeah.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is, whether Daisy's destined to be the CEO or not, like, I surely felt that there was like a person that I liked on the other line that like had capacity and high energy and like all the things I like. Yeah, but the problem for Daisy and all of her contemporaries is, and then that was fun, but then we got into real life and she's been so built to like worry about the short-term P&L, the client, all the things that I'm trying to teach all my people to not worry about, but it's hard. It's even for Harry, like that's on the account side. I'm just because I'm looking at Harriet. No, maybe the British accent thing, like, you know, Harriet had her same version of it. Like PR people in agency land, all they're trying to do is put makeup on their people.
They're not actually fixing the core.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, like it's not the natural state for someone who does what Harriet does with the CEO, where I'm like, I got it, it's fine. It's like, it's all fine. Like, what's gonna happen? People have wrote people have said that I'm the greatest thing that has ever happened of all time, and people have said I'm completely full of shit and everything in between.
How do you feel when you read that? Both.
Empathetic.
Yeah.
Flattered, and like embarrassed when it's the most extreme in a good way, and deeply, deeply compassionate when it's extreme in the other way. Multiple people that have wrote nasty things about me, and I'm talking, not multiple, excuse me, dozens of people that have wrote nasty things about me in this industry and outside of it have apologized to me in deep detail 5, 7, 10 years later. And they all say the same things. I was in a really bad place and your light made me feel even worse and I just wanted to tear you down. It's all the same shit.
It's true.
It's all the same shit.
Mark Ritson,
Yeah.
Ritson, we were talking about him just before.
Yeah.
He's never run an agency, he's an academic, he's never run a business.
Yeah.
And
He has passionate points of view about me and other things. Yeah, I mean, and I'm empathetic to that. I don't really, like, wish Mark the greatest happiness of all time. Like it's not that I completely dismiss it, not that it's just noise, but to your point, for me, it's hard to take serious because it's philosophy. Like it's not that and by the way, not that I don't think he could be right. It's just that I've lived my whole life seeing the opposite.
So if you could,
Like to me, like I've only built brand, like I love when people try to talk to me about building brand when I've built my own brand to a much bigger, like there's nobody who does what we do for a living that's actually known by real people besides me. In our entire industry, the only person that exists in our industry that real normal people actually know of as well is me.
Just got 1 minute left.
You got it.
okay, I've got 2 other questions.
I'll bag them in.
I'm just gonna.
We'll move fast on our
but
travels.
Really, really briefly. So these will kind of go to a little bit of a personal.
I'll bang these out and then maybe I'll run out and then you can do more if there's need.
Personal thing. So away from work, day-to-day life, what's your biggest triumph or what's your biggest regret as well?
My biggest regret is always not spending enough time with the people I love, whether they're still here with us or they're not. And there's not even a close second. I actually don't regret anything else.
Okay.
Period. Like I think it's one of the silliest energies that humans use. There's no time machine.
To have.
Yeah, and most things don't matter. Nothing in business matters. So that's for damn sure. So that's that. And then triumph, that a man whispered in my ear yesterday that I saved his life. And that happens how often, Dustin?
Every time I'm with you.
Again, that's why I believe in what we do. I know that the creative we do is seen by real people.
Amazing. Well, I don't want to.
You have a second one or that we're both in that one?
Who should we interview next? Who do you learn from?
I think who you should interview next is lots and lots of people that are not part of this industry and ask them questions in detail about this industry and watch in marvel how no normal person knows anything that's going on in this industry. I think that would be really good for the industry.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll do
Go
that.
speak to a CEO of a major company, a CEO, and ask them what's going on in marketing. Why do you think CMOs don't keep their jobs? It's confusing to everyone except the 15,000 people that are here. How many people are here? 1,500, 15,000?
15,000, yeah.
Thank you. This is the definition of an echo chamber. The definition.
That's amazing.
This is it.
Did you want a photo?
Yeah, I really. I
we
could
should.
just.
Please.
Should we do one outside? Why don't you go and do